everybody, and welcome back to the Come Play podcast. On this episode, we will talk about Joseph Martinez signing a 5-year extension to stay with Atlanta United. We're going to discuss Kyler Murray, which will be a debate with me and Brendy, and we're going to discuss the steroid era in baseball. This is episode 17, and with me today are Brendy and Zach. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
What's good?
And Bobby is not with us this week, but we do have Zach, which means Zach's thought of the week is back. So go ahead, Zach.
Zach's thought of the week is back. This one is very... It's definitely hard to pick sides, I'll say.
Okay.
All right. It's usually, I will say it's usually a would you rather question, to get the, provoke the thoughts. All right. Would you rather have to wait until you're really full to take a shit? Like, you have to wait until you're like, I got a shit, and then you can go. Or have a wet dream every night.
Oh my God.
Right away, I'm probably gonna go with the shit one because I sleep with my girlfriend every night, and I don't want her to be pissed at me. So I don't know. I'd probably have to go with the. So what do you mean by like full? Like, do you mean like full in the stomach or full in the colon?
Full in the colon.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much what I do anyway. So I'm gonna go with that.
See, that could be really bad though, because like you could be in a really awkward situation and that happens. Like at least if you have a wet dream every night, it's gonna happen. Right.
Well, yeah, but like you gotta like prepare. Like you gotta like maybe wear a diaper or like have a pair of backup sheets. Like
just wear a condom to bed.
Yes, let's go. That's the answer.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
the answer. That's it right there. That's
well, yeah, but imagine waking up and like the condom is full and it's just fucking leaking.
Oh God. I mean,
dude, it can't be that whole. It can't be that full if it happens every night.
So do you just wake up every morning like your balls are just sore or what?
Oh my God, I don't know.
Dude, you're not like fucking constantly coming throughout the whole night.
I mean, you act like it's like a full, like it's not. It's not as. I'm not trying to have a sex lesson on this podcast right now, but it's not a full thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it could happen. I'm just saying.
I mean, if you're doing it every night, there's no way it's full.
So could it be like? Is it like guaranteed like every time you're asleep, or like if you like have sex like right before you go to sleep, will it not happen?
No, it still happen.
Oh,
it's
okay.
every night.
I don't know.
I just feel like the whole shit thing, like you could like feel that like at the worst time, like in pub, like you could be like on stage or something, like I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's relatively painless, the wet dream, because you know it's gonna happen, so you just go to sleep and you'll wake up. You're like, oh, there it is again.
I don't know though. I've taken like some pretty enormous shits before, and like you don't really have to like push it out, so it's not that painful.
Bro, but like
you have to wait until like you absolutely cannot hold your shit anymore to shit.
Like
you still have to wait.
Yeah, like it's just basically you're not pushing; it just comes out.
I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'm leaning towards the shit though.
I'm definitely leaning toward wet dream, and I'm definitely going with what Zach said. Just wear a condom to bed every night. Now it's gonna be very expensive, but
oh yeah, that's the thing. You can shit for free.
Yeah, but it's also it could be awkward.
It's awkward wearing a condom every night. just like have a like a
I don't
stack
think it's that awkward. Like if you
just have a stack of condoms in your fucking closet.
Like I don't know.
If you're to a point where like you have someone you sleep in a bed with every night, you're probably already pretty close to that person. So you just tell them, dude, like, yep, this is a thing. I can't help it. Like,
I have this condition. I ejaculate every night
in my sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with that. That's
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what
going
I'm
with the
doing.
wet dream every night.
I'll stay on the fence about it, but I'm still leaning towards shit.
It always comes back to shit and cum on this podcast, apparently. All right, we're gonna move on to some actual sports topics and stuff that doesn't involve
Yeah,
shit and piss.
yeah, nice
Uh,
segue.
yeah, it's great. Joseph Martinez, the striker for Atlanta United, who has broken records since coming to the team, just signed a 5-year extension to stay with United. Um, I'm gonna send it to Brendy because he is the biggest Atlanta United fan I know. Not that I know many Atlanta United fans, but Brendy,
Yeah, I
what
was
is
gonna say. So,
what is your opinion on this?
well, I will say I'm not completely surprised, just because, like I was saying earlier before the podcast, like there wasn't really a whole lot of rumors associated with him, like going to a European team or something like that. Those rumors are mainly from Miguel Almiron. So I think for the most part, Atlanta United was essentially guaranteed. Well, I mean, not guaranteed because anything can happen, but Atlanta United was more probable than not to sign them to some sort of long term deal. And I think Joseph also realizes MLS is probably the best choice for him if he's going to keep smashing records like that.
Yeah.
Second second season in Major League Soccer, he's got the hat trick record. He broke the season long goal scoring record, and it's probably just starting from there. But also, I'm sure Joseph, like, he just loves being in Atlanta. The ladies love him. He loves the city. I mean, so it's like,
Probably
why
loves the
not?
strip clubs.
Yeah,
I mean, going off that point, in a quote from Martinez, he said, "This means a lot to me because of the affection that the fans have shown me. That the fans show all of our players. It's unique." So,
and
kind of going on that point.
and I'm actually kind of I'm glad you brought that up because I actually recently read. I linked it to you like a month or two ago. I remember reading a Players Tribune article that Joseph Martinez wrote, and when he wrote that article, I was basically like, yeah, he's staying with Atlanta United for like 10 years because he made it clear he loves the city, loves the fans, and he's going to do everything he can to stay with the team and not just up and leave.
Right.
So
I think it's kind of along the lines of obviously like when you have a really good job and like really good people to work with,
Mhm.
even if there's another job that's better pay, it's like, is it really worth leaving because I love this job?
right.
I mean, that's funny you say that. That's the exact
Yeah,
position.
that's literally exactly it right there.
By the way, well, one point I wanted to kind of mention, and I know this is such an over talked about point, but it's to me it's worth talking about because I always think it's going to be a discussion. Joseph Martinez probably, I mean, I don't say probably, he was, in my opinion, the best player in MLS last year. Do you think, what does this do for MLS? And I know this, I know this comes up every time something like this happens, but like I said, I think it's worth talking about because it's MLS is still down the totem pole in terms of soccer with Europe and stuff like that. Does this one of the star players of the MLS who could very easily, like, I don't know, like I said about transfer rumors and stuff like that, there wasn't that much swirling around him, but could easily play for a big
Mhm.
a mid tier to big team, and or like a lower to mid tier Premier League team. Like, he could definitely do it. So what does this mean to MLS for a guy like him staying?
So it's definitely great for MLS just because I feel like I feel like fans that are like centered in the United States, but have only focused on like international play just because there hasn't really been a huge league like there is in the Premier League or Bundesliga or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm not saying this signing will brings them up to that level. That's crazy talk, but I will say if you're in the United States market and you hear about this South American guy breaking breaking all sorts of goal records and making all these moves, you'll be like, oh shit, I'm going to turn it on. Then you realize he plays for Major League Soccer in Atlanta United. It's like, damn, like this guy can ball. You know,
Yeah.
he's playing in a lower league or a lower tier league that he's doing great. And I think and this kind of segues into another point. The signing of Pity Martinez also helps with that kind of growth as well. Coming over from South America, they just keep on getting those young DPs, and it's working.
So, one last question I'll ask on this topic. Not like you said, and I think like a lot of people thought like it's not a total shock here that he stayed, but now the fact that he does stay, and like you said, getting Pity Martinez is in. Do you think that Atlanta United's the favorite again for next year?
I would have to say either Atlanta United or DC United because I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw how DC United played after Wayne Rooney arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne Rooney basically carried all other 10 players on his back.
Yeah.
And was like, okay, we're going to go to the fucking playoffs. They were last in the league, I think, when Wayne Rooney was signed, and
Yes.
that's about half the season right there. And then he gets signed, and then they go on this amazing winning streak, and they look scary in the playoffs. Like there's no denying it. And I'm sure you've seen some, Wayne Rooney highlights of him so far this Major League Soccer season. I would have to say Atlanta United probably still the slight favorite, but do not sleep on DC United. They're looking scarier, every passing day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
At least in terms of Eastern Conference. I feel like Western Conference, it's probably going to be. I feel like Western Conference, the team that's probably going to come out is the Galaxy. Excuse me, Galaxy, just because of Zlatan.
Yeah, full season. Yeah.
Either them or Portland. That's my Western Conference pick. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't. I'm sure they have because this is how Vegas usually is. Like, I'm sure the odds have already come out for next year. I really don't know. But if they haven't or when they do, I'm sure Atlanta will be number one. At least they seem like the odds on to me. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's obviously locking up your best player for another 5 years is is really good, and locking up, like I said, a player of his caliber in the MLS is awesome. So
yeah, I'm looking right now. It actually doesn't even. They don't even have the odds yet for that. So
they might be waiting for like the transfers to go through, maybe.
yeah.
But anyway, keeping on the MLS trend here, some big news for the MLS as Austin FC will be the 27th team in the league's history. They will start play in 2021. And as Brendy kind of pointed out in the chat that we're in, this basically means that Columbus is kind of, I would just say, I guess, safe
For now.
And Sacramento is basically screwed, is how he put it. But yeah, it's it's a huge step, obviously, growing the game and stuff like that. It's I will say the first I know it's random, but the first thing I think of about this team is why the fuck is their colors green? But besides that, it's
like
good.
mint green.
Yeah, not even like it's Texas. Like there's nothing green there. It's all fucking dirt and sand. No, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, what is your thoughts on this getting another team in the MLS?
So, pardon. So this is actually kind of. I think when you hear about a city like Austin getting a Major League Soccer team, what comes to your head? You think of Rooster Teeth probably, but the biggest thing for me, I think Austin really deserved a Major League Soccer team simply because they are one of the biggest TV markets in the United States for soccer.
Mhm.
If you looked at the ratings, like for MLS Cup, the World Cup, and certain international matches, you'll see Austin is like consistently in the top 5, and if not, they're number 1.
Mhm.
Um, and that's a sign that hey, we're interested in soccer over here. So I think Major League Soccer did the right thing in awarding them a team. I will say though, um, I don't think the Columbus moving rumors are gonna die down. Like this kind of puts like a stop to it for the time being. But I know a lot of Major League Soccer fans, and I know this isn't really about Austin at this point, but many like Major League Soccer fans do not want Columbus to move, despite the fact that they are dead last in attendance every season. It seems like the only fans that do care about these moving rumors are the ones that aren't actually in Columbus.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
So this puts a stop to it for now. And man, Sacramento, they've been wanting a team for like the past 10 years. They're gonna have to wait another like 3 or 4 now. So
Yeah.
sucks to be them.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the MLS will be the first major league to plant its roots in Austin, which is kind of crazy because it's such a I think
It's
it's
not
like
a small city.
I want to say it's like the here it is right here, the 11th largest city in the U.S. So that's kind of interesting. Point on that. But yeah, like I said, it's a huge step, and I think the city, you kind of pointed it out, yeah, with like the viewership and stuff like that, and it's a big city, and they have a privately funded arena coming worth $225 million, and it's going to be a 20,000 seat stadium. So yeah,
I will say this expansion announcement, I was a little surprised about just at the time, because I thought the only way Austin was going to get a team was by relocation.
right.
But it's interesting to see now that they got awarded by expansion. So I was slightly surprised, but like I I'm not surprised that they got a team. I'm surprised at how they got the team.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's you want to grow the game, and getting new teams in big cities like this will help. And it's tough. I still think for the immediate future, it's going to be tough for the MLS. But look, they're doing all the right things. They're heading in the right direction. So one day maybe the league does grow to a point where it can compete with European soccer. But and again, I know I always go back to that, but it is worth mentioning. But yeah, Austin FC will be the 27th team, and like I said, they will play in 2021.
They should have the RTX event in the new Austin FC stadium.
Right. All right, so that is it for our soccer talk today. Moving on, this one will probably end up being a pretty good debate. So Kyler Murray, quarterback for Oklahoma, who was drafted by the Oakland A's, I think it was last year, in the first round of the draft. His intentions for the longest time were to go play baseball, and after losing to Alabama this year in the college football playoffs, after the game, well, I shouldn't say after the game, but the following weeks, days and weeks, he has since declared for the NFL draft. He, won the Heisman Trophy this past year, and like I said, it was something that a lot of people had expected him just to go right to the A's, and there you go. But yeah, he was picked 9th overall in the 2018 draft by the A's. Now says he's going to declare for the draft. Brendy has an opinion on Kyler Murray that I don't agree with. But go ahead. You say what you need to say about Kyler.
Okay. Kyler Murray, no doubt, is the best quarterback in the Big 12. I'm not doubting that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for me, I feel like Big 12 quarterbacks, and I feel like Baker Mayfield at least has definitely shown promise. But then again, you have to remember he plays for fucking Cleveland, so anyone on there can show promise. I've been having a mixed opinion on Kyler Murray the past few months about whether or not he should even bother going into the NFL. Okay, so like just because he even gets drafted by an NFL team, by no means that he's going to go play for the NFL. Like,
yeah,
he was drafted by the first round by the Oakland Athletics. I feel like he almost certainly has to go with that just because of the money, all the guaranteed money, and all the offers he's going to get. So I would have to say, in terms of Kyler Murray, playing in the Big 12, I'm not sold on Kyler Murray. That he can be a viable starter in the NFL. The reason for that is simply because I feel like his numbers do not reflect how talented or under talented he really is. Simply because he basically plays, as I like to call it, the Orange Cone Conference, where basically if you set like where you could literally put out orange cones on the defense and like they'd be like a little bit better. But no, I don't know. I've seen a lot. I've done a lot of research on this, and I will say, originally I was like hardcore anti Kyler Murray. But more recently, I'm not necessarily anti Kyler Murray. I'm more or less just anti Big 12
yeah.
and the people coming out of the Big 12. I will say Kyler Murray does look great on the field. There's no doubt about that. I don't think I don't really think anyone knows what his true value or potential is, which is why I would be surprised if he went any higher than the 4th round.
That's the crazy talk.
Okay. Here's another part though. The quarterback class in this draft is actually like really good. Like it's not loaded, but it's good.
Yeah. No, and I get that, but he's if he doesn't go in the first round, there's no way he goes to the 4th round. I mean, I think he'll probably be a late first round pick, probably maybe early second, but there's no way like 4th round.
We'll see that's that, and again that is where we disagree because there are 3 quarterbacks I can think of right now, really 3 or 4 quarterbacks right now that I can think of that would go before him.
Well, Dwayne Haskins is the number 1 ranked quarterback right now, and then you have Drew Lock as another one. I keep forgetting this kid's name from Duke.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel. Jeez, I always forget his name. Daniel Jones. So here's the thing. I will say we kind of tuned it down from the discussion we were having before because we were kind of extreme on one side and vice versa. We were kind of both on opposite sides. So I'm not going to sit here and say Kyler Murray is going to go to the NFL and be a superstar and win Super Bowls, blah blah blah. What I am saying is that he has that X factor that he can make plays out of nothing. He is very good under when stuff breaks down. He's very good at creating something. Now there is a few concerns about Kyler Murray. Don't get me wrong. The fact that he's 5'9" as a quarterback is not great. And I know, short quarterbacks have been successful, Drew Brees and stuff like that. But
Case Keenum.
I mean that's just a shot right there. No, I mean look, I know it's a kind of a cliche thing, And as a short guy, I hate it. But guess what? Like, it's kind of how the world is. I mean, like,
You
it's
short guys got to stick together, bud.
we gotta stick together. Me and Tyler and Kyler.
Yeah, because then you'll be a little taller.
But no, seriously. I mean, like, like physics wise, like physically, like it's better to be a bigger guy, and as a quarterback especially, being 5'9" doesn't really help his case. But like I said, being a dual threat guy that he is, 4,000. I think it was he had like over 4,000 passing yards and like over 1,000 rushing yards this year. You can't deny what he did. And look, I mean, they lost that game to Alabama, but I was watching that game and I was just thinking, man, the only reason they're in this game is because Kyler Murray. He willed his way. Now, as for the thing, so I mean, there's things that I disagree and agree with Brendy's points, but the thing that I just can't get over is this whole like where he'll go in the draft.
So I will say, if he does get drafted in the first round, it'll be by a really stupid team like Miami. Like, so I'm looking
Yeah,
at I'm on Walter Football right now, who does NFL mock drafts all the time. They currently have Kyler Murray going number 13, which I think they're fucking smoking. And I was looking at the description, and they're like, "Yeah, the Miami Dolphins are probably going to draft this guy just because they don't know what they're doing." But no, so that's what I think it'll take. I think the Miami Dolphins draft anyone other than Daniel Jones, they're crazy. But so I don't know. I don't think he's. Okay, you can disagree with this one. If he is going in the first round, he's not going that fucking high. He's not going 13.
Well, I'm sorry. Do you have the draft up again, like the teams, the list again?
Yes, I do.
'Cause I want to go through. I know we went through this, I think, last week or the week before, but so I know like the first team that really would want a quarterback is I think 5 or 6, the New York Giants.
You know, it's funny. I actually, yeah. So yeah, the Giants definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if, don't be surprised. Like, just my opinion, if like the Raiders or Bucks take a quarterback as well.
No, well, that's what I was gonna say. So
But Giants for sure.
So I mean, the Oakland has Derek Carr, and I think I discussed this last week. Oakland has Derek Carr, but there's rumors that they're not happy with him, and I don't know if that has to do with Gruden or not. But maybe they take a quarterback. No, maybe not to necessarily take over right away, but to kind of keep in the there for a year or something. The Bucks should draft a quarterback, but they said they're going to stick with Winston again. And then you have the Giants, and then give me like the 5 teams after the Giants.
All right, so it starts with the Giants, and then you got the Jaguars, the Lions, the Bills, the Broncos, and the Bengals.
And out of those teams, I would say
the Broncos are probably like the second most likely team to get a quarterback.
The Broncos should draft, and I think they will draft a quarterback. They're going to draft a quarterback sometime in this draft. I don't know if it's going to be the first round, second round, not ninth round.
I have the Broncos picking Drew Lock, like in my personal mock draft.
Yeah, I think another team you might need to be keep an eye on there is the Jaguars. With taking a quarterback.
They seem more like a second or third round quarterback picking team this year.
That is true. But so my point in going through this again is let's kind of keep it count. So definite teams that are teams that are almost certainly going to take a quarterback in the first round. Broncos, Giants, and then we have the maybes in the Raiders, Bucks, Jaguars. And then just read the next 5, and then we'll kind of stop it there. But like I said, there's a point I want to make to this.
All right, so after the Bengals, maybe the Bengals. I don't know.
I was thinking that, but I'm not sure. They seem set on the mediocre Andy Dalton, so I don't really know. But yeah.
Well, there's no telling just because they just fired their coach and they just might want a fresh start. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so after the Bengals, you've got the Packers, the Dolphins. Who is projected to pick Kyler Murray. I think they'd be fucking crazy for that. The Falcons, Redskins, and Panthers.
And then out of that list, I would say so. You got the Dolphins, who again you should take a quarterback, and then maybe the Redskins, just because with the injury Alex Smith just had. The Redskins are a team. Again, I don't know if they'll be a first round pick, but they'll probably take a quarterback. But my point to this is there's teams out there that that are going to take a quarterback somewhere in this draft, and if it's a first round pick, we don't know, but there's teams out there, and like I said, I think Kyler Murray is I don't know, out of the class, I would say he's probably the I don't actually. I want to say if they have rankings on this, because I was going to say I mean, Todd McShay does have him as a first round prospect, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's kind of like the fourth or fifth option at this point.
No,
like a quarterback wise, I think. How?
He's not the fourth best quarterback in this draft.
Who do you have? See, Haskins, Locke, Jones. Who else you got?
I've got. Sorry, it's my fucking screen froze. I've got Haskins, Locke, Jones, and I will say I would like maybe switch around Locke and Jones just depending on, just I guess just depending on a few factors. Maybe Locke over Jones just because. And then after that, I'm not entirely sure, but I will say I'm not like that's where I draw the line for now.
I just can't think of any other quarterbacks that I mean Kyler Murray's got to be like I'm not gonna sit here and say he's the best quarterback out of the draft, but
maybe okay. So I just thought about it. Ryan Finley.
Okay.
So yeah, I would have to go. Ryan Finley probably is 4, and then that's where I draw the line after that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I wouldn't. Let me put it to you this way: I wouldn't be surprised if Kyler Murray was a first round pick. You're definitely going to disagree there, but I could see it for sure. Now it's interesting because Kyler Murray has come out and said that he's asked for, I think, like $15 million or something from the Athletics, and he's trying to get that extra money out of him to maybe see if he wants to go there. So look, he is a risk just because of that thing, that X factor. He's a risk because if he ends up going, what a quarterback we forgot, by the way, Will Grier. He was one of the quarterbacks that was way up in the draft rankings at the beginning of the year and kind of fell a little bit. But that's another guy who will be a top pick this year, Will Grier, out of West Virginia. But anyway, yeah, I think I think there is a little bit of hesitation with taking a guy with a high pick that might not play for you. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. Now, the A's have committed $4.66 million to him already. He's already out here asking for $15 million and hasn't even stepped on the field yet. So he's I will say he's doing he has got a nice tactic going on here, trying to get as much as he can out of these teams. But yeah, I just think in my opinion, I think he will go in the first round. Like I said, he might be a later first round pick, maybe early second, but I am not even close to agreeing with you about like a fourth round pick.
I would pick Ryan Finley and maybe someone like maybe not Will Grier, but what about Jarrett Stidham out of Auburn?
I gotta tell you, I do not like Stidham.
Well, we'll see. I was just throwing something around, but I don't mean to move things along, but let's go ahead and move along.
Yeah.
We've been on here forever.
Yeah. It's gonna be a debate between us until the draft happens because we're on the complete opposite sides. A quick one we just want to touch on real quick, and we wish Bobby was here for this because this is kind of his thing. But big news for Rocket League is it's now cross play across all platforms and consoles. PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, which and of course PC and stuff like that. Which is big because we talked about like a couple months ago about how PlayStation was kind of, it was saying, oh, we're all inclusive, like it's all about us, stuff like that, and now we have kind of all this stuff coming out about stuff like the big game has been cross-platform, which I've said this before. I do not play Rocket League that often, but when I do, I think it is a fun game. It's good to see that they're kind of growing their brand. I know, Brendy and maybe even Zach, like you probably would know this more than I do about, it's a pretty big event it's a pretty big game in the gaming community in terms of like events and stuff like that. Like, am I correct in saying that with like there's like a lot of tournaments and stuff like that?
Yeah, there is. And I will say something about watching tournaments. I don't really, I don't know. Something about tournaments for me is a little lacking just because the players there are so good. Like, they'll make like this amazing move and like, in the normal play, like they'll like there'll be a sure goal, and like but like in the tournament, like the commentator like barely gets any excitement. It's like, oh, I guess he knows it's gonna get saved despite this amazing move. And it's not until like it's like a clear open net where they're like, he's gonna score, it's like shit. Like, all right, well, I guess I can fly around and hit the ball as much as I want, and like they'll know exactly what's gonna happen. I don't know. I'm not really intrigued by competitive Rocket League.
Yeah, they are crazy though, like how good they are. I mean, aerials and stuff are like the biggest part of the game at this point. Like, I remember when the game first came out because I wish Bobby was here for this because it's a game I used to play all the time. There's a game for the PlayStation 2 called Road Trip. Like it was such a I don't want to say it was a childish game, I guess, and it was so much fun. It had like cars and stuff.
Dude, me and Zach are the king of childish games on PS2. I'm just saying.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
And there's this game, and then there was like game modes in there where you could play soccer with the cars. So when we seen Rocket League come out, we're like, holy shit, like this is the next thing. So we bought it almost right away, and at that time, everybody fucking sucked. Like, there was no such thing as aerials, and like, that's when I was like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this game, like, because I can compete. But once all these aerials came out and these guys fucking the professionals and stuff like doing what they're doing, it's insane. It's like I don't get it. But like I said, it's just it's just something that it's good to see. Like I said, cross-platform. I'm just thinking in my head, maybe we have a discussion one time about like old games that we still loved and played at those times.
Crash Tag Team Racing, nothing better than combining your vehicles into one, having your friend drive you while you shoot behind you, like just spraying a minigun.
The PS2 is where it's at, man. It was such a good it's such a good system. I miss it. Anyway,
don't forget about the Simpsons Hit and Run, dude.
Oh yeah, yes.
The original Grand Theft Auto.
What a game! It really there's just some games that like, and I don't know if part of it, Brendy, I think you brought this up before when I was talking about MW2. Like, it's not such much a game that's good. It's just that you reminisce. Like, I think that's a lot of that. Like,
you only remember the good parts of games you used to play all the time. I feel
right.
Like.
Yeah, right. It was something like that. So
yeah, I wonder how I'm gonna remember NHL 19.
Probably just drinking beer all the time. Well, it's funny you bring up NHL though, because it's like whenever in our heads, like whenever I'm thinking, of playing NHL, like I only think about like, hey, the good moments, that we're gonna get only good moments tonight,
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, for anyone, I just want to say for anyone who's played that game as much as we have, should know what kind of bullshit it is filled with. I'm not even gonna get into it. If you've played it, you know.
Zach's gonna get triggered if he gets into it. No, yeah. I don't know. That's something maybe we'll keep for another time. Like I said, talking about old video games. But for now, we're gonna get to our last quick pick, which is a kind of a reaction to a I don't know if it's a poll or what, but basically ESPN put out a graphic on their Instagram, is where I seen it, where they had the midseason awards predictions for the NBA awards, and this was from who they say are their experts. I don't know how many people that is or what, but basically they put out their predictions, and I kind of want to go through this because there's a lot of disagreeing in the comments section. This I screenshotted this a few days ago, and it had 8,000 comments on it at the time, and that was like put out like like it was not out for long. Like I'm sure like the comments on it now are crazy. But basically, so I mean, there's a few on here that I think everybody a lot of people will agree with. I think Luka winning Rookie of the Year, is that something you would agree with, Brendy?
Yeah. I as much as I hate to say it, as a Hawks fan, kind of trading him for Trae Young. And with that said, Trae Young's been balling too, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I would have to say Luka, probably my probably my top pick for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I do know. I personally think Trae Young is severely. I think he's severely overlooked. Just because he hasn't. He hasn't played all season, and he hasn't really showed his true potential, in my opinion. But he's had a lot of good games. I would probably have to go with Luka 1, and then maybe someone like, man, it's hard to tell because it's kind of like Luka and then everyone else at this point. I'm trying to think of a 1, 2, and 3, but I can't even think of a 2 or a 3.
Right.
I probably maybe someone like, who's that guy from? I can't even think of his name. Wendell Carter, maybe him.
Right. Yes. I mean, like I said, I think you kind of hit on it with it's Luka and everybody else. So I think a lot of people agreed with that. And then like the other ones being like Coach of the Year being I know this name and I'm gonna mispronounce it anyway. Mike Budenholzer.
Yep.
That's how you say it, right? Yeah. I think a lot of people would have him with the season the Bucks are having. By the way, just want to put it out there. Which would be a
second Coach of the Year award if he were to win it.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to put this out there. We never released it, but the NBA preview, I had the Bucks being, I think the 2 seed in the East, I want to say, behind the Raptors. So I predicted them to have a good season. Whatever. Anyway, but Defensive Player of the Year. I don't really put. Obviously it's a big award. I'm not taking anything away from it, but that's something that I feel like it's a little bit harder to be like, yeah, it's definitely this guy. But they have Paul George. But the two that, what I'm trying to get to here, I'm kind of dragging out. The two that I don't know if I agree with or not. So we'll go to the smaller one first, and then we'll go to the big one. So they have Sixth Man of the Year right now being Lou Williams. I don't agree.
That's a piping hot take.
Yeah, I would say my sixth man is probably D Rose. I'm looking at the stats now. Now Lou Williams averages 18 points a game. That's D Rose is they're basically the same. D Rose at 18.8, Lou Williams at 18.6.
Well, at least one of them tries to play defense.
Yeah, that was that was Brendy's point. I don't know. I mean, and I don't know if this is a bad thing or not, but like I almost feel like with D Rose, like it's almost a feel good story. Like give it to him, man. Like I know that's not what it's about, but he's had such a good year. He's been a great sixth man, and kind of coming back from all he's been through. And just how he's played. Like, I mean, he's been he's been very good this year. He's been a good. You know, I was on the train that I think when D Rose was in his prime and not injured, I think he was one of the best players in the league. But with all the injuries and stuff like that, I was on the side where you know he's done and stuff like that. But look, I mean, he's come back and had a resurgent season. So, yeah, I mean, I would give it to him. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but you know.
I will say it's funny you mentioned Lou Williams. I don't even think Lou Williams is a conversation. I think it's Derrick Rose and Domantas Sabonis. Those are my top two.
Right. Yeah, like I said, mine and Steroids, but the one that everybody's talking about, and kind of the reason I brought this up, and look, I'm not taking this away from this player because he's having a phenomenal year, but Giannis was the number one for MVP, and again, not taking away from him because he's probably, you know, if he's not one, he's two, but the fact that James Harden was not number one is kind of insane to me. I you know, and you kind of brought up a point that, you know, the NBA doesn't like giving back-to-back MVPs. But just, I don't know how you can't give it to Harden.
I will say I think it's stupid that they don't like giving back-to-back MVPs. But so I guess I'm just being a little bit realistic here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, yeah, like he probably deserves it, but I feel like if it's between Giannis and James, like Giannis is probably gonna get it, unless James just breaks out and basically has a Russell Westbrook the rest of the season, gets a triple-double.
So Harden right now sits at 34 points a game, 34.8 points a game, leading the league, and in second is Steph at 29.5. So he's got a huge that's a significant like separation right there.
Yeah.
You know that's kind of, you know, insane right there. I know like it's only point, you know, it's points and stuff like that, and they look at other stuff, but like that right off the bat just kind of jumps off the page. You have him there, and then Giannis is at 26.4 a game. So that's, you know, like I said, that's kind of the first thing that jumped out for me. You know, he's on like some kind of crazy streak right now, and like I said, you probably know more than me. He's like had 30 plus points and like a lot, like it's been, I don't know how many consecutive games, but it's been like an absurd amount. You know, I just think that, like I said, how do you not give it? I mean, he's 8.6 assists a game. You know, he's, and now everybody's gonna say about how bad he plays defense, but you know, that's his MO is offense. Like I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Like I said, I think Harden, like it's almost like you can't, like you got to give it to him.
If it was up to me, I would put number one Harden, number two Giannis, and number three whoever. But here's my thing though. I don't think James is going to win it just because of what I mentioned this just a second ago, but something that's very popular with the NBA media, which is MVP fatigue.
Right.
I think that's what the official term for it is. And that's really the only reason I can think of. Now, if I'm picking MVP and like I had a vote, I'm picking Harden because the guy is almost, like not quite, but almost having another transcending season. I would also argue Harden should probably have one more MVP. I think he should have got MVP back in 2013, back in the 2013-14 season.
Right.
That would be my pick for him. But I think Steph won it that year.
He did, yes.
Yeah, so which I thought was fucking crazy. I think the NBA media, like, they're very inconsistent with picking their MVPs. They, one year they say it's best player on best team, and the next year they're saying, no, it's just the guy who plays the best all season. And then they're like, okay, well, Russell Westbrook is having a historical season. It's like, make up your fucking mind, dude.
Yeah.
I don't care who you pick for, really, as long as you're consistent with your views.
Right.
But they're clearly inconsistent.
Right. I will say this: it's not only in the NBA. It's the same thing in the NHL. It's like, is it the most valuable player to the team, or is it the most valuable player to the league? Like, stuff like that. Like, it's always a debate. So it's
Part
not.
of it's
It's
all
any
about
different.
marketing too. I mean, that factors in as well.
Yep.
Well, it's just, I just don't know how you don't give it to James Harden at this point. And like, again, I know this is just midseason predictions from some ESPN guys, but look, I mean, at the end of the day, I just think it's crazy. It's crazy that it's not him. He's been the best player all year, for me. Like I said, just overall, um, it's just he's always, yeah, like I said, if Brian, if you can look it up for me real quick, like he's on some streak right now of like 30 point consecutive games, and like it's something like I don't think I've ever seen before.
I mean, that's going to be kind of hard to look up. I do know, I do kind of know what you're talking about. Let's see. It says he scored, let's see, he had 17 straight games with 30 or more points, which is the longest streak since Wilt Chamberlain had 20
Yeah.
straight games. So he still has, he's still behind Wilt in that sense, but I mean, he could definitely pass him.
Yeah, I was gonna say because he's still on the streak.
Right.
It's just like I said to me, and I haven't watched a whole lot of basketball this year, but I try to keep up with all the sports as much as I can. But you always see, you just always you just look at the stats and you're just like, how can you not give it to him? Like I said, he's my pick. If I had a vote, I'd probably have Giannis 2, and then realistically, it's between Harden and Giannis. But if I did have a 3, maybe I don't know.
Well, that's how the NBA works. You have a first, second, and third place vote, and it's like a point system.
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe Steph, or I don't know. It's maybe Anthony Davis. Actually, he might be
that's not a bad
third
pick
for me. But anyway,
The
the brow. Yeah, I mean, we'll kind of move on, but it's something I did want to. I actually had as a topic to maybe talk about in the future, the MVP race. But I seen this come out the other day, and it's like that's insane to me. Like how they don't have Harden number 1. But anyway, we'll get into our big topics here. We had a discussion last week that I think was hands down our best discussion on the podcast about the Hall of Fame. We'll classify somebody to be a Hall of Famer, and I want to have more discussions about random sports topics, maybe not necessarily like the latest news and stuff like that, but just general topics about stuff. So today I want to have a discussion about the steroids era in baseball. It's notorious. And well-known era in the baseball world, and kind of just wanted to have a discussion to basically see what we all thought about what side we're on and stuff like that. Now I know I've been doing this a lot this podcast, but I will start with you, Brendy, because being probably the most knowledgeable about baseball here. What is your thoughts? Just give like a general, thought about the era, and we'll kind of get into a discussion from there.
All right, all right. So the steroid era, no doubt, like probably the biggest era in the history of baseball. Put baseball as I mean, they already were before, but this kind of solidified. It essentially made them a force to be reckoned with, because originally it was originally just a sport for for outsiders in a way,
Mhm.
or not necessarily outsiders, but like a specific group of people. And the steroid era comes by, viewership skyrockets. You got these 300-pound men that are like all muscle and like a little bit of like head,
Yeah.
and they're just going out there and hitting balls out of the stadium, which obviously caused viewership to go up. It caused a major interest in the sport, and the steroid era only continued to grow, which in my opinion surprises me a little bit, because today, if I'm watching a sport and I see a 300-pound like muscle guy like step up to the plate, I'm like, I'm kind of turned off by it in a way. I'm like, okay, I don't like, I can't relate to this muscle dude. Um, wait, and that's it's kind of a funny point. Like, someone like Steph Curry, like
Mhm.
he kind of looks like a normal guy, but
Yeah.
he can outduel LeBron James on the court. That's
Right.
why a lot of people like Steph Curry. And but I guess baseball, it kind of worked, the opposite way. Here's this guy that looks nothing like me, and I'll look nothing like him. But no. So the steroid era in baseball, definitely one of the most exciting times to watch the sport and be a fan. But that comes with its, downturns, though, right? I'm not a fan of steroids in baseball. I know a lot of people are like, let's bring back the steroid era. I'm like, are you fucking crazy?
I actually heard someone talking about how, I don't know, obviously I don't know how credible this is, so take it with a grain of salt, do your own research, all that shit. I heard that there was certain MLB players that were essentially microdosing steroids so they couldn't be caught on a drug test. Basically what they would do is they would take like a tiny bit in like the 6th or 7th inning of a game, so that by the end of the game it would be out of their system.
That's crazy. Wait, are you talking like, you're talking in the steroid era, or like now? Like,
one of the names I heard of people that were doing that was Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, of course.
Well, Alex Rodriguez does like
Well, I
more
know
than
he's
steroids.
yeah, I know he's already like been caught for steroids, so that's why I brought his name, because it's not like he's not already guilty.
I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I guess my whole thing with it is, I mean, this is obvious, but from a health perspective, this is like a terrible thing. However, not that I was born in this time. Well, I was born during this time. I wasn't watching sports during this time, but like, it did make for some increased offense and some, awesome baseball. Now, is it? It's just funny because sometimes like the steroid era for me is like, it's almost like video game baseball, I guess. Like, you have like Mark McGwire, who had I think he hit like 50, I want to say like 52 home runs or something in the 94 season, when he was like the year I'm sorry, it was 96. I'm looking at that. So this is from ESPN, by the way. So in 1996 with the Athletics, McGwire hit 52 home runs, which led the league. But the thing about it is he missed part of the season. So like that was 62 home runs in like not even a full season. Then you had 61, and then obviously the record now was 70. It's 72.
70 something.
So I think it's 72. Again, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the people that are like, bring it back. That was the best baseball. Like, look, it's unrealistic. It's like kind of dumb stuff, but it did make for some good baseball. Now, the point that I kind of want to bring up is now with the drug program that the MLB has installed and stuff like that. Like, obviously all that stuff is illegal, but back in the day, technically it was legal. like it wasn't like, they weren't doing anything wrong before, like, this stuff came in. I mean, is that like, you guys aren't saying anything, so I want to say, like, you're not agreeing, but technically, I mean, they're
Well,
not really.
I just want to get your point, or I
I
just want to hear your point.
I mean, there was a time where steroids were not a ban, like, there wasn't like a banned substance list like it is now. So, technically, what they were doing wasn't illegal. Now, if they did this in the era now, yeah, obviously they're going to get suspended for it. But what they were doing back in the day was not illegal.
So, is there, like, what year was it made, I guess, illegal?
I want to say it was I can look that up real quick, but I'm pretty sure it was like either late 90s or early 2000s. I think it was like early 2000s.
Well, I feel like eventually, if people if they allowed steroids, it would get to a point where everyone would be on steroids, and then we'd just be right back to where we are.
Right. 2003 was the year that steroids were banned in baseball. But you're talking about Mark McGwire and stuff like that. Barry Bonds and all these guys that were fucking incredible. Sammy Sosa, like all these guys, they technically played in a time where it was legal. Like there was nothing stopping them. So all these guys saying, "Well, oh, it's terrible that they did these substances and stuff like that." I mean, they didn't do anything wrong for the time period. Again, now if you did it now, yes, it's illegal. But at the time, they were doing what they're allowed. Like I said, it made for some fun baseball. I mean, Brendy said it perfectly. I mean, guys were hitting balls out of the stadium, which is just insane. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's realistic for like people to say, bring it back now and stuff like that. But it did make for some good baseball. From an offensive perspective, I should say. But yeah.
So here's my question, though.
Mhm.
Let's say steroids are banned in the year 1999.
Mhm.
And you have a player. Okay, who would you say was the face of the steroid era? Easily Barry Bonds, right?
Yeah, Barry. But I mean, I think the top three were Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa, probably. But yeah, I would say Barry Bonds.
Right. So here's my thing. Barry Bonds, he was involved. He was involved in what is famously known as the Balco scandal.
Yep.
And so were a lot of other players, but basically, if you don't know what the Balco scandal was, it was a report released by the Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative, which is essentially they marketed something called tetrahydro I don't know how to pronounce that. Fuck it. Yeah, I'll link you the Wikipedia article about it. But basically, Balco, they marketed a performance-enhancing steroid, which was undetectable by doping tests, and it first came to notice that Barry Bonds may have been a part of this scandal when one of Barry Bonds' trainers was basically indicted by a grand jury. Yep. And he had a list of the other players that were associated with the Balco scandal. And I should say, like, this didn't necessarily mean that Barry Bonds took steroids, but a deal was struck down where basically the trainer and anyone associated with it did not have to release their names. So Barry Bonds has technically never been confirmed to even taken steroids, but it's essentially all but confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it, but I mean, yeah, you're right. Technically, he hasn't, but yeah, I mean, everybody knows that man took steroids.
Right. And that's actually a really interesting story though, because it's like Barry Bonds. I personally think Barry Bonds. I don't think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. You can cut my throat for that, but I'm just saying he has been, and I will say about this, like my opinion for this, I will say I'm a little inconsistent about this because, like, I do feel like if you've basically played in the steroid era like your whole career, then like maybe you deserve like some sort of shot of getting in. But like something, I guess Barry Bonds, he had essentially used this thing to gain a supreme power advantage, and there's this very interesting this very famous clip of him where the San Francisco Giants are down by like they're down by like a run or two, and the bases are loaded, and Barry Bonds comes up to the plate, and the pitcher decides to walk him,
Yep.
And like give the Giants a run, and then what happens in the next batter? Strikes him out, and the other team wins the game.
Right.
Just imagine having that kind of ferocity, that kind of power, where you'd rather give up a run than one swing of a bat to this man.
Yeah. So, you kind of brought it up for a second, and I want to get into this conversation too about the whole Hall of Fame thing. And I know we had a really good discussion last week about the Hall of Fame. And maybe, we could have brought it up then, but let's bring it up now to these guys that had gotten, have basically been confirmed that they were doping and stuff like that. Back when it was legal, do they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame still? My opinion is, yeah. Now, I'm gonna say that, and I will say another point in a second. But yeah, I think they deserve to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, because, like I said, and I know I keep saying it, but there was nothing wrong with what they were doing back when they were doing it. Now, again, it's tough because the point I want to make is, does I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, now with the players nowadays, like, them getting in the Hall of Fame is gonna be different than the guys that were getting, that played in the '90s, because it's such a different game. The guys in the '90s were hitting bombs, and now the game is very different. It's much more tactical and stuff like that. The game is different now. There's obviously going to be guys in this era that still get in, but the guy getting in the Hall of Fame when you played in the '90s is much different than getting in now. Is basically what I'm trying to say, because guys were hitting 70 home runs. They'll get in the Hall of Fame, but you're never going to see that again in this era. You're never going to see a guy hitting 70 home runs in a season. It's just not. It's not going to happen.
I will say, people who vote on that Hall of Fame stuff, they almost seem to like want to forget that era entirely.
Yeah, and it's that's the thing about it. Now, is there a bias against that? I think there is. You're right. I mean, they kind of do want to forget it, but look, I mean, it's a part of it. It made the sport. I don't want to say it made it popular, but it definitely grew the game a lot because of what was happening in the game. And you can't deny what happened in the past. Again, is it illegal now? Yes, but at the time it wasn't. So it's just kind of it's a part of your history, and I don't know why they kind of act like that with the Hall of Fame community. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, guys who were caught when it was, or not caught, but were doing it were doping when it was legal, I think they should get in.
Zach, what's your take on it? Do you got anything to add?
I mean, I'm kind of with Tyler in that the guys who were doping when it was legal should get in, just because, I mean, everyone could have done it. It was fair game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really all I'm saying. I mean, anybody could have done it, but they didn't.
Right, and
Granted, there's risk that comes with that. Your balls get smaller.
yep.
I'm just kidding. I don't even know if that's true, but
It definitely is.
there's definitely has to be like negative health effects associated with using steroids like that.
I mean, everything
I
aside
mean, ever
from
heard
the
of roid
sport.
rage?
Yeah, I mean, everything aside from the sport aspect of it, I'm not taking anything away from steroids are awful for you. Like health wise, it was terrible. I'm not
Yeah,
taking anything away from that, but like, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Like it was fair game. Anybody could have done it. Like if you wanted an advantage, you took it. Like because you
yes.
could. If you didn't take it, I hate to say it because we're talking about steroids, but it's almost your loss that you didn't take them.
That's the other side of the argument, though, is that it's terrible for your health. You don't want to put that into your system. You don't want to risk being unhealthy at a later age because you want to be the best in the MLB. That's the other side of the argument. That's why I would argue that they shouldn't be in because, you have guys that don't care that just want to get doped up, and then other guys that are, want to play well but still want to take care of themselves.
Right.
So,
it's how do I word this? I mean, it's almost like two different categories because like it was a performance enhancing, and that's the big thing about it. But I mean, it's fair game, but then you do have that other side to it where it is like a health risk and stuff like that. And if you weren't taking it, it doesn't make you like a bad person or something.
So this is kind of the last point I want to make. So a guy like Barry Bonds, who holds the all-time home run lead, he's like maybe like just a few home runs over Hank Aaron, but obviously Barry Bonds has played in the steroid era, and there's this argument, if he didn't take steroids, okay, I would say if he didn't take steroids, he wouldn't be the home run leader because he's only ahead by like just a few home runs.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
So my question is, if a guy has taken steroids before, confirmed, and he gets in the Hall of Fame, should his achievements be redacted? Like not like I should say like should we consider like okay, let's say Barry Bonds gets in the Hall of Fame, should we consider Hank Aaron the home run king? Because personally, like as a Braves fan, I still think Hank Aaron is the home run king. But like,
they should just break it up into two Hall of Fames:
but
the regular Hall of Fame and the steroid Hall of Fame.
It's funny you bring that up because people actually do say that, and like as a realistically, and like I said, they didn't technically they didn't do anything wrong. It's and you don't necessarily know. I mean, look, I'm kind of just not that I'm speculating, but I'm kind of just putting this out there. You don't know the guys before, these guys, the McGuires, the Bonds, stuff like that. Like, those guys could have been doing it, stuff as well. It's tough for. I don't think you can separate them. Like I said, it was part of the game. I don't think you can separate them, and I don't think you should take away from what they did because they doped. The MLB made it. It was not illegal. They made it legal. You can't say and that was at the time. You can't now say, well, you did something that now is illegal. You can't be in the Hall of Fame. Like like I know I keep saying it over and over again, but I'm just trying to get the point across where they didn't do anything wrong.
So just a quick question. You would say Barry Bonds is the home run king?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I acknowledge that he was definitely on steroids. Excuse me, when he did it, but
I think there's no doubt that Barry Bonds. I don't know. I will say though, it sours me as an Atlanta Braves fan just because it should be Hank Aaron's award in my opinion, but it's like not gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
but I agree. I mean, I do see the point you're making though.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think I guess like they're not they weren't doing anything like, yes, now it would be called it's cheating nowadays, but again, as Zach said, it was fair game. And and kind of going back to like I said before, and it's so bad because when we're talking about steroids and when now all the things we know that can do to your body, but it was people will argue it was the best era in baseball because of how good the game was offensively and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of guys in that era that are going to get a lot of shit for what they did, but I personally believe that at the time they were doing it, it was fair game, and they were allowed to do what they do. Now, if they do it now, obviously, the rules say that that's now cheating. But look, I'm on the side where I think that they a guy that did it when he was allowed to do it is good for me, and I think like Hall of Fame wise and stuff like that, he should get in, even if it's confirmed that he took the steroids. But I mean that's kind of I don't know. I mean I know Zach said he kind of sides with me. How about you, Brendy?
I mean, I think.
Well, I actually want to say I'm on the fence about it, but I'll explain after Brendy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say like I disagree, but I will say unlike the Kyler Murray argument, you make some pretty good points. I'll just say like I haven't really changed my stance on it, but I will say good discussion.
Yeah. But yeah, Zach, go ahead.
And I will say I will say really quick, I'm probably like the most biased one here, but that's okay. At least I acknowledge my bias.
Yeah.
So just kind of last thing I want to say, like we said, yes, it was fair use at the time, and back to what I was saying about how the steroids definitely have negative health effects. So yes, it was fair game, fair use, all that stuff, but legally, yes, fair game, but not really if you really look into it, because you can't take steroids like that and be healthy. So it's not. You just have the guys that don't give a fuck about taking care of themselves versus the guys who want to live a long life.
Yeah, I mean, there's two kinds of people. There's the guys that don't care and want to be the best that they can be, and then the guys that are like, well, I want to be the best that I can be, but look, I'm not destroying my body.
Yeah, it's not worth, steroid use, degrading your body, having small balls. I guess, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm like this for almost every argument. Like I can see the other side of it, but personally for me, I would say, I would say that I'm on the side that, they. I mean, if we're talking from the point that if they get in the Hall of Fame, I think they should get in the Hall of Fame. As a general discussion, do I think that Steroid Era should come back? Absolutely not. But I think, like I said, it was fair game at the time, and yeah, we will kind of move on from there. Another good discussion. Like I said, I like having these discussions about kind of just random sports things. But for now, we will move on to Brendy's In Case You Missed segment. Back again. So yeah, go ahead with that.
All right, so in case you missed it this week, boys. All right, so would you guys say that you are fans of Star Wars?
I'm more casual than other people.
Casual fan, yes.
Yeah,
casual fan.
Yeah,
like you'll like watch the movies and enjoy it, but you're a fan.
Yeah, I would say that. Yes.
All right. So what would you say if I were to tell you that Star Wars or not Star Wars, excuse me, EA had planned to make an open Star Wars world, an open Star Wars game like GTA style.
EA's gonna make it.
Well, so what would you think about that though?
I mean, that'd be
Well,
pretty
right
awesome.
off the bat, it's gonna be fucking terrible.
I'll get to the story in a second, but so what would you think about that?
If EA's making it, no. If literally any other gaming company, yeah, I'll try it out.
I think it'd be pretty sick. I mean, like I said, I'm a casual fan. I think that'd be cool. Like, there's some people that are hardcore Star Wars fans, so like, I'm sure they would enjoy that more than I would. But yeah, I think it'd be cool.
All right, well, so semi bad news, and by semi I mean terribly bad news for those Star Wars fans. So this this was announced back in 2017, and it was basically confirmed in development as an open world Star Wars game. I couldn't really find what the name of it was going to be, but essentially, it was announced yesterday that EA has decided to completely scrap the idea. So this game is no more. It was going to be, I believe it was going to be, excuse me, it was going to be published. It was announced alongside the shutdown of Visceral Games, which I'm sure you guys may have loosely heard of before.
Yeah, they made Dead Space.
Yeah. So and they were Visceral was essentially planning on kind of publishing it and making it its game as well. But with their company essentially shutting down, it has been decided that Star Wars, this open world game, is going to be shut down with it. So
I'm not even disappointed.
EA had plans to like continue it, but it was announced yesterday they were like, no, like we're scrapping it.
So I think it's a cool concept, but Zach is so anti-EA.
It's EA, man. Like, it's not. Well, dude, it's not even that. Like, look at how remember how like hyped up the Battlefront games were.
Yeah.
And then basically all it was Battlefield with a Star Wars theme.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
look at Battlefield 5 too.
Yeah, I mean,
it was complete trash, and then they hoard everyone with microtransactions. Like, dude, you have to. You completely just alienated the entire Star Wars community by doing that because you don't fuck with Star Wars like that.
I will say this, that I agree with you there. I mean, EA is like notorious for the microtransaction, which good for them. I mean, I guess they're making a ton of money, but that's just not my thing, and I think it's dumb. The game is $60, and you got, and these people can afford it, but the YouTubers that are spending it on, in terms of like the sports games, like the Ultimate Team packs and stuff like that, they spend like getting, you spend $100, you get like shit for it. Like, you don't get any good players. Like, people are spending like thousands of dollars and getting like absolutely trash.
I was about to say, like, so it's almost like, especially for like certain like shooters like Battlefield or whatever, it's almost like you have to buy like the ultimate platinum.
I don't want to buy all that crap, man. Like $60 is already a pretty big price tag for a game.
Remember
that's another discussion, but I don't want to spend another $60 to $100 to enjoy the game.
Yeah, I was about to say, you remember back when like you would pay like $60 and get like the full game and everything that came with it?
Yeah.
Like you would have like DLC like in Call of Duty, but it's like that was like, I feel like that was kind of understandable.
Yeah.
Like I'll take DLC. I don't like microtransactions.
I mean, but Zach's right there. They kind of destroyed Battlefront with this because and don't quote me on this. I don't know if you guys really played that, because I really didn't. But my understanding is that, yeah, you basically had to do microtransactions to get certain characters and stuff in the game, and it kind of ruined it
game
because people didn't want to do that. And it kind of, like I said, ruined it. So,
and it's not even just the microtransactions that's part of it. Like they release the same game year after year and then be like, well, why did it not do well? Because like you literally made you copy and pasted Battlefield 1 to Battlefield 5. Like that's all you
and
did.
like change
Change the guns,
you like
change the
some
maps. That's
character
it.
skins. That's about it.
Yeah. No, I like I said, I mean, this is a discussion for another time with EA, but yeah, I think it's a cool concept, but you know, let the right people make it. And I don't know if EA is the game. EA does what they do with the sports games and stuff like that, but I don't want to have microtransactions for like a GTA style game. I don't know. That's just me.
I'm just saying, man. How's Battlefield 5 like any different than Battlefield 3 other than how it looks?
Battlefield 3 was the best Battlefield. Changed my mind.
Right, because it was the first one of that type, and then they just kept making the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had like Bad Company 2 or whatever, and then they put out Battlefield 3 a few years after that.
Battlefield 3,
and they're like, oh, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, Star Wars Battlefront.
I will say, like,
literally all the same game.
I just remember like playing Battlefield 3 with you guys, and like one of my favorite map, Operation Metro.
Yeah.
I just remember like going into like that underground subway or train station or whatever, just with the sniper rifle and just sniping people. Like that was a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, right. But Battlefield 3 was such a good game. EA was just like, all right, we don't need any new ideas for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, maybe we might be a little bit more biased with what was happening with us at EA, but
EA.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, would you guys say if it was still going to be published by Visceral Games, would you like at least be somewhat intrigued?
Maybe. I mean, I'd have to try it out just because Visceral made
Is it Visceral?
I think it's Visceral.
All right, my bad.
They made the Dead Space games. Obviously, I was very impressed with those. I mean, I have all 3 downloaded on my Xbox right now, but I mean, I would be less hesitant to try it if it was made by Visceral, but that's not possible. Obviously, there's not a company anymore.
Right.
And EA just has such a bad track record of disappointing fans that I just.
Right. I mean, and this is kind of one disappointment that went under the radar. You guys may have heard about this though. So The Sims 4, obviously, like they release expansion packs and like DLC all the time.
Right.
So. And Rachel May can be kind of I don't know where she is, but I was actually going to get her take on this. You guys, so they released The Sims 4 Pets. Essentially, they released it unfinished. And like a month or two later, they released more DLC for Pets, which is essentially like the rest of the pack. Except you'd have to pay like $10 or $15 for it.
Right.
And the Sims community like went on a rampage. and guess what? It's an EA game.
I mean, like here's the thing, like Rockstar, this is so long ago now, but when they released GTA 5, like, there was the whole thing where they were like, yeah, online will be out in October, online will be out in December, and then it ended up being January. And now, granted, there still is glitch. It's for a game like that, there always is going to be glitches, but they didn't put an unfinished they didn't put an unfinished product out. They took their time, and they disappointed fans by waiting, but they didn't put a game out where you had to buy something else like that. So I don't know, just something I was comparing it to. But yeah, I know what you're talking about with The Sims.
All right. Well, before we end up starting a riot against EA, let's go ahead and move on to the next story I have.
Everyone tweet #fuck EA.
All right. So next topic. This is kind of in the same realm of getting fucked in the ass, but so you guys, do you guys have Netflix accounts, like your own accounts?
I do.
Okay. And how much do you pay a month for it?
Well, right now I think I pay. I don't even know, $10 or $11.
Right now, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah,
13. Okay. Well, bad news for you. Netflix is announcing another price raising or another
Yep.
price
Jesus,
hike.
man, like another one?
I
Yep.
seen that. Yeah.
So the Associated Press reported that the basic $8 per month streaming will be raised to $9. The higher tier one, the normal $11 plan, will be increased to $13. And then the highest tier plan, which offers 4K Ultra HD, will go from $14 to $16. These prices will roll out to existing subscribers over the next 3 months, and new subscribers will find them active immediately. So, look, Netflix is obviously one of the most popular websites for watching movies, but I just gotta ask you guys, what the fuck are they doing?
So,
They're running out of money.
here's the thing with Netflix. Like, I remember back in the, I don't know, I was probably still in elementary school or middle school. Like, it was $8 and that was it, and you got everything with it. But now, like, it seems like every little bit now that they keep raising it. Also, another thing is like, Netflix has good stuff and whatnot. Like, they have some good stuff, but like, they have a lot of shit on there too. Like that,
Yep.
I don't know how people watch. Like, there's certain things. I keep Netflix for like certain things. Like, I mean, I keep it, essentially to give me something else to watch. Like, I have Hulu and stuff like that, which is cool as well. But
I think Hulu is better.
I don't know. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, I like certain shows. So, like, Hulu has like How I Met Your Mother and Seinfeld, which are like two shows I really like. But like, Netflix has Friends, and like, I like that show. So like, I have to keep separate services because like they have shows that I like on both. But like, I think for like really either of them, like, there's a lot of shit they have on there like that. I don't know why like they still have on there. Like, not that many people can be watching it. Like, literally, like, Netflix has like porn documentary. Like, they have like, I don't know if it's porn documentaries like in particular, but they have like these documentaries about like this stupid shit. Like, I don't know, like, who the fuck is watching that? Like, take that bullshit off. Let me keep my money. Like, if that's what, like, if you're spending money to keep putting that show out, like it's dumb to me. I don't know. I mean, like, I just remember when Netflix was simple and it was $8, and now it's like it just rises every month at this point.
Yeah, I will say though, like, I'm not one to really fall victim of it because I switched from to Hulu like last year. And one thing I really like about Hulu that Netflix doesn't have is like I can watch live TV.
Yeah, that's
like I don't even need a cable plan anymore just because I can watch on Hulu.
Yeah, that's huge. Hulu doing that was a huge step,
right?
For sure.
And it's like, so there, like, yeah, like you said earlier, there are some better shows. Like, me and Rachel May not too long ago just watched Bird Box like last week or 2 weeks ago,
Right.
which I thought was a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but those, I feel like those are almost far and few in between.
Like I said, I mean, they're
at least nowadays. I remember when Netflix originals used to actually be somewhat decent. Now they're just not.
I was going to argue the latter, that they are better than they've ever been.
Wow. All right, let's hear this.
I mean, think about this, man. We have shows like Stranger Things. Like, Stranger Things is obviously a great show. Everyone loves Bird Box. They have a lot of they do a lot of Marvel heroes. Like, they did the Punisher, new season of that about to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all really good show. Like, obviously, I can't think of everything off the top of my head, but
I mean, one show that I really like from them is Last Chance U, which is basically a show about football. Like, they go to like these colleges that are, they're elite junior colleges, and they have a lot of guys that have troubled backgrounds and stuff. They'll go there and like basically play football, and they're straightening themselves out. But I I'm kind of biased on this anyway because I'm not a big show and movie watcher. Like, I watch show, like, my girl gets on me about this all the time because like it's just the way it is. But like, I'm such a sports watcher that I'd rather do that like 10 times more than watching a movie or something like that. Like, I'd rather watch a random college basketball game or a random hockey game or a random baseball game than like watch a movie. Like, that's just me. But like, I don't like I watch a lot of the same stuff on Netflix, like, and Hulu for that matter as well.
right.
Like, I don't really care about all this other shit. Like, it just so I'm kind of biased on that, but
And also think about all the Brendy, I know you're not a fan of comedy or the stand-up comedy, but like
oh,
all the specials they have on Netflix, man. Like,
I do like that. Like the Dave Chappelle
yeah, I mean,
specials were good.
comedy is really big right now. So I think Netflix, I think, they have all the deals with the comedians, all the 1 hour specials. Those are all so good.
Don't get me wrong, Netflix is doing some things right, but it just wasn't too long ago where they upped the price from up to whatever it was $13
Yeah.
or
Yeah, you're right.
to be honest, I don't know what I'm paying off the top of my head because I have a subscription with Hulu and it all comes in at the same time, but I know it was very recently that they upped the price and it sucks. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm probably still gonna keep it, but if it keeps going up, I mean, they're gonna, they got to make it affordable. So,
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't go up any more than it is now.
So I'm sure you guys you probably don't want the price to be increased, but do you guys understand? I guess do you think it makes sense?
I mean, any opportunity to make more money makes sense.
Well,
look,
no, I mean from y'all's perspective, do you think okay? I should ask. Do you think it would be good for them?
I'm not gonna sit here and say don't make money. Like that's their business. That's what they're supposed to do. But it's
Well, I'm asking from a consumer standpoint.
No, but I'm getting to that because like as a consumer, it sucks. I mean, like has anything really changed on there like drastically where I warrant a price change where I want to pay more? No, not necessarily. I don't think there's anything. No, again, I might not watch as much as other people do, but there's not something on there where I'm like, damn, you added this. I should won't have to pay more money. Like one thing that didn't happen, thankfully, like they were going to take off Friends from Netflix, which I've watched that show like so much. Like that's one of my favorite shows of all time. So like if they took it off, like it sucks. I can't watch it anymore. But like I've watched it 100 times. It doesn't matter. But they put that back. They got a deal and that's back on.
But
But
they
like
ended up having to pay a shitload more money.
they did, and there's another show like you'll like I'm a sucker for like 90s early 2000s like sitcoms stuff like that. So like another show they had on there that I used to really like was Everybody Loves Raymond, and like they took that off. Like they take off the shows that I like, but keep the ones that are so shit. Like as a consumer, I don't think I should be paying more. I understand where they're look again. They're gonna make their money where they can, but for me as a consumer, I don't like that the price got raised for what they're giving me. I don't think there's been anything drastic where I'm like, okay, I should be paying more money for this now.
All right, well, let's go ahead.
I mean, I'm never going to admit to wanting to pay more money.
It's
hard to justify it as a consumer.
Yeah,
well, no, I understand that.
But talking from a realistic standpoint, like that's how I feel.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic.
Okay, so and that is it with In Case You Missed It. So we're just going to wrap up the show here with our NFL prediction, well, our NFL preview for the championship games, as we've been doing all year. So in the AFC, we have both brackets actually. We have the 1 and 2 seeds from each conference. So in the AFC, we got the Pats and the Chiefs. And then in the NFC, we got the Saints and the Rams. So my prediction of the Eagles getting to the Super Bowl is wrong, but you know why? Drew Brees didn't tear his ACL. That's why.
And they didn't get in a plane crash.
So good thing that the good thing for the Rams that the Eagles lost because now they won't get into a plane crash. But anyway, yeah.
Wow.
This is what I said. Come on now. I said the Eagles are the luckiest team in the league. Drew Brees will tear his ACL in practice. The Rams' plane will go down. I mean, that's just thankfully it didn't happen. But anyway, I guess we'll start with the AFC game. The interesting about this game, I mean, the Pats are there again for I think the 8th straight year, which fucking pisses me off to no end. But anyway, this is the first. This only the second time I read this from I think an ESPN article. this is only the second time in the Brady era that the Pats are a not the favorite in a playoff game. I think it was like a playoff game after like the NFC, the championship game in the Super Bowl, which is kind of crazy. And the last time it happened was actually to the Chiefs in 2007, which was a game they won as well. So uh, I guess we talked about how the Chiefs offense has been looking all year. An interesting point to this game, which was kind of a factor last week, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. There is a potentially severe snowstorm system that's moving through the Midwest to the Northeast, and the game is being played in Kansas City, and they're saying it could, bring a lot of snow during the game or the day before the game. So that's something we're gonna have to keep an eye on. But like I said, it's weird to see. It does. By the way, it's also supposed to be extremely cold. Like 15 degrees is is what they're saying for game day, but it could feel like less than 0, which is insane. The thing that sucks about it is I don't want a game to be decided over weather. I think it should be, that's not the thing, but that's just kind of how it works out. But it's Pat Mahomes against Tom Brady. Pat Mahomes, the season he's having, against the greatest playoff quarterback of all time.
Didn't even have to add didn't even have to add playoff there.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right about that. But yeah, I think as a prediction for me, man, it also one thing that's going to be weird is that the AFC Championship game is not being played in New England. That's also a little weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
I can't go against the Patriots, man. Like, they're just there's something about them, and it'll always be there. I think till Brady retires. I can't predict against them. They're too good. I'll say. I'll say Patriots, and I'll say they'll win by. I think it's going to be. I think it will be close. I'll give the Chiefs that. I think it's going to be like a field goal like type game. But I'll say the Patriots. What about you guys?
So I'll just say I agree with you. It'll be close, like maybe like a single possession or something like that. I do think the Chiefs though are. I do think that they're the hotter team right now, and like they have the advantage of being hot.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could probably agree with me on that one at least.
Mm-hmm.
And the Patriots have the advantage of being the Patriots. So, but here's what I will say. So Kansas City is playing at home, and they're playing in weather. I wouldn't even necessarily say weather they're used to, but like they will have, I guess, somewhat of the advantage, I guess, in that case. Playing in Foxborough, it's still pretty cold, but I don't know, maybe something about like playing in Kansas City will be different for them. I will say I think this game is going to be a shootout that'll be decided by maybe last possession.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have the Chiefs winning 34-30.
I would think the last time these teams played, it was what 40 to 39 or something like that. And I think last time when these teams played in the regular season, you said it was going to come down to the last possession, and it did. So,
yeah.
Zach, you have a prediction for this?
Prediction? No, because I'm sort of a casual NFL.
Well, who do you think wins this game?
I mean, I really think it's hard to say versus like what Brendy was saying. It's a hot team versus a playoff veteran team.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was to bet my money, I'd bet on the Patriots. But
yeah,
I mean, I want the Chiefs to win, obviously.
I mean, like I said, I can't bet against the Patriots.
And as far as the Rams and Saints go, I think the Saints are going to win.
Oh, okay. I mean, we're gonna get to that now. As that's the last thing Brendy wants to hear. But yeah, the NFC game, we have the Rams and the Saints. The Saints kind of barely squeaked by against the Eagles. I mean, they were 14 points down and came back, but that was because. And as for the Dallas and the Rams game, I mean, the Rams barely got through that. One thing that's kind of, as this is just kind of a side note, but it's cool for me, is C.J. Anderson, who they brought in like week 15 or 16 when Gurley got hurt. Former running back for the Broncos, has had a phenomenal couple games. I mean, he's rushed over 100 yards every game he's played with them, which is awesome to see. I mean, he got cut by the Broncos, and look, I mean, I didn't want to see that, but it worked out for them with Philip Lindsay. But he went to the Panthers. They cut him. Went to the Raiders. They cut him, and now he's kind of found a home with the Rams. Not a home. I mean, because there's still Gurley there, but he's been a clutch performer for them. So I'd like to see. It's good to see. He was always a good guy for the Broncos. But anyway, that was a close game, and now we have a game that again in the regular season was a shootout. For the most part, I mean the Saints had gotten out to a big lead in that game, but the Rams came back. This game is in New Orleans. This one's tough to predict for me. This one. Like for me, I think the Pats win. Like I'm pretty, not that I'm confident about it, but like it's the Patriots, so like I have them. But in this game, it's tough. If I had a prediction, I'll go Saints. Do I have a firm reason for that? Not really. But I'll go Saints. And say that it's again. I think for an entertainment purpose, these two games we have coming up are going to be the we couldn't ask for better games. I think they'll both be shootouts and really good games. But like I said, I think that'll be close as well. Brendy, you have what is your prediction for this?
So obviously I'm cheering for the Rams just because I'm anti-Saints. Like honestly, it's so funny too because like if it was like Rams versus Bucks or Rams versus Panthers, I might be intrigued to go for them, but I'd probably still pick the Rams. But as for the Saints, though, I'm like anti-Saints just because I feel like their fans are like one of the most annoying in the league. Next to the Steelers, of course. The Steelers are probably the worst.
The Eagles. Come on now.
Okay,
sorry. Okay, well, you gotta admit those Steelers fans are pretty bad too.
The Saints have the worst fans in the league next to the Patriots, the Steelers.
Oh no.
No, I mean, look, it might. It's definitely biased because I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people say the Eagles have the worst.
Well, I didn't think about the Eagles.
But like, I mean, it's you're a Falcons fan, so it definitely makes it with the Saints. But either way, continue your point.
All right. So anyway, like I'm just hoping for a Rams victory just so I can be happy and sleep well at night. So I don't care if the Patriots win the Super Bowl as long as the Saints don't. All right. But anyway, so my prediction. I will say I was a little bit more worried about the Saints than most, just because of Drew Brees, definitely an improved defense compared to years past where like they didn't have a defense,
right?
And like I'm pretty sure they didn't even have a defensive coordinator. But no, they've definitely improved on defense. I will say the game against the Eagles kind of made me think, okay, they're definitely beatable.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm basing this more on the fact that the Rams with the high power, I think probably the better offense than the Eagles. And the Saints definitely have a penetrable defense. So I'll have the Rams winning. I'm trying to think of a viable score. I'll have the Rams winning 30-20.
Now, is the Rams Chiefs Super Bowl, like, that's a Super Bowl you want
That
to
was
see,
my
right?
that was my pick. I'm pretty
That's
sure
a
that's my
Super
pick.
Bowl everyone wants to see.
Well, that was my pick at the beginning of the playoffs.
It was. Now, one thing I will say, like, I you're talking about the Saints, like, you don't want to see them. Like, as a Broncos fan, like, the Chiefs are like, I would say the Chiefs are right now probably our biggest rivals, but like, I kind of want to, like, if I'd rather see them win than the Patriots. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's something about it, and I hate to say this again, being a Broncos fan, but like Patrick Mahomes is like easily one of my favorite players in the league this year. Like, with what he's done, like, it's hard not to like him with what he's done. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I think the Saints and the Falcons might have a little bit more of a rivalry anyway than the Broncos and the Chiefs, but just had to put that out there. But either way, we're gonna wrap up the podcast here with a new little segment, I guess you want to say, that we're gonna kind of try out and see if it sticks. But Zach, as we've mentioned before, is big into music, and big into your, maybe less known SoundCloud guys, underground and stuff like that. So we're gonna have Zach's track of the week, along with his thought of the week, where he kind of gives us a track that a song that he likes, and maybe give some publicity to the
Right.
to the SoundCloud guy. So yeah, go ahead with
And
that.
I'll try to change it up. I won't stick with the same genre every week. Like maybe I'll go with the same genre 2 weeks in a row, but I'll try to just be all over the place with it, so it's not always just the same.
Right.
This week's track of the week is Ghost Voices by Virtual Self, Hex Cougar remix. I've put that out on my Twitter. It's on the Come Play page. There's a link to the song. You can go there to check it out.
Cool.
It's a really good song. If you like EDM, bass music, give it a listen.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, yeah.
Does this guy like normally make like really good music? Like, is it rated?
It's just one track that I like. I haven't really listened to much of his other stuff.
Okay, well, I'll definitely take a listen. I kind of like EDM, so
we'll wrap up the podcast here. This has been episode 17 of the podcast. We're chugging along here, and it's been really good stuff. But again, if you want to contact us, you can contact us on Twitter at Come Play Network, and find all of the stuff there in terms of what we're posting, and we'll post stuff about sports and everything with the podcast. So you can check us out there. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed the episodes or are enjoying the episodes. And we will catch you next week on episode 18 of the Come Play podcast.
peace.
Peace.